Welcome to A Diary of a Professional Tennis Coach with Mark Gellard and Candy Reed, sponsored by the ERT 300. Well, delighted to welcome once again to Diary of a Professional Tennis Coach, the one and only Vlado Platenik, who's been in the news quite recently, quite a lot, because of course he spent a couple of weeks on a trial basis with the British tennis player Emma Raducanu. And Vlado is here to tell us all about it, a bit of an exclusive for the podcast. Vlado, welcome back. I'm absolutely delighted to have you on the podcast again.
Hi, nice to see you too.
We had a really good chat at the end of 2024 where we discussed your career. I actually approached you in Beijing because I saw you for the first time, and I've thought for a long time that you are amongst the very, very best coaches on the WTA Tour. I remember when Veronika Kudermetova won her first title on the green clay of Charleston, which is coming up very shortly, and you were alongside her and her husband. And I just thought what a difference you had made. We won't focus on what you've done. We will focus on recent events, if that's all right with you, because, of course, you've been in the news quite a lot recently as the trial period coach of Emma Raducanu. Can you give us some idea of how that relationship came about?
Yeah, well, I mean, what can I say? I got the offer, to have a look at Emma. I think before COVID, I think she was ranked between 300-400, and it was like upcoming player, which I was kind of specializing in. I was always trying to take players, junior players, ranked 300-400. Obviously, talented players, but trying to help them to make the big step into top 100 and maybe higher. So obviously, I was interested, and then we spent probably like 5 days a week in London. I think the parents and Emma, they really liked the way we were practicing. Unfortunately, they had two more coaches which they were supposed to try at that time. So I was told that to be patient and wait a little bit until they try these coaches, because they need to give them the chance. And in the end up, I was waiting a little bit too long. It was almost 1 month waiting, and nobody was calling me. And I got another offer, which I took. And then maybe a few days later, the father called me that they would like to work with me. So I was already with another player. So this was the first kind of bad luck. And then the father called me after she won US Open. We were talking about it, but also I was having another player at that time. So didn't work out. And then now after the split with Lulu, the father actually was in touch with me, asking me for help to search for a good coach. He was trying to kind of get recommendation from me, and which I did. I recommended him a coach. I don't want to mention the name. And then 2 weeks later, we split very suddenly with Lulu. And so I texted him like, Ian, did you find the coach, because I'm available. And that's how everything started. Yeah.
Now, just talking about Lulu Sun, you were with her, of course, at Wimbledon, where she had that unbelievable run. I did a match of Lulu's a couple of years ago in Seoul, where I think she just turned professional, and I thought she was okay. I didn't think she was particularly special. But then she went on that unbelievable run at Wimbledon last year, won 3 rounds in qualifying, beating Alexandra Ayala, who's doing really well in Miami as we speak. She then beat Zhang Qinwen, who went on to win Olympic gold. Starodubtseva, Lin Zhu, Emma Raducanu in the round of 16, got all the way to the quarterfinals. So you were doing really well with Lulu. Can you give us some idea of what happened there before we talk about how you got together with Raducanu?
Yeah, I think we were a little bit unlucky because uh, you know the schedule was crazy. With Lulu, there was a little bit struggle with the Olympics, because Lulu really wanted to play Olympics for New Zealand. She got a chance, so I was not able to be on the team. It was very important time because after the Wimbledon, success, I think it was very important, to stabilize some things and also mentally kind of help her because what I realized, the problem is that after achievements or kind of quick improvement in the rankings puts a lot of pressure on the girls, and I was not able to be there 10 days at the Olympic Games. Then we tried to go early to Toronto to make at least a couple of days of preparation in Toronto. I have a very good friend there, in Toronto, and we had like all the comfort because he's the owner of Hotel X in Toronto, and there is the facility is unbelievable there, the tennis courts, the gym, and everything. So we were really happy, to have this opportunity to stay in the hotel and have all the facilities for us. And then the second day we arrived to Toronto, Lulu got sick with fever, so she was lying in the bed for 5 days. We had to withdraw from Toronto, and then obviously she wanted to play so much these American tournaments, Cincinnati and so on. So she was feeling better. We prepared a couple of days in Cincy. She did well. She qualified, won a round. So she won 3 matches. She beat Noskova. She beat Bronzetti, which is, I think, very good player. I think upcoming player. I really like her. She has a good setup. She's a big fighter. So it was a good match too. And then, she lost to Kostyuk. And from there, we were traveling straight to Monterrey because Lulu was ranked 230 year and a half ago, and the first 6 months of the year we were not able to play big tournaments. We were only able to play like 50,000, 75,000, 100K, and she was doing well. She was improving fast. She won 50K. She won 100K. So her ranking was getting better and better. And obviously after Wimbledon, her ranking, was going up quickly. And I think the schedule was okay, just with all these little hiccups. The Olympics, then being sick. Was a little bit difficult, but I think she was still in a good form, and then she played well in Monterrey. She did finals and moved to like top 40, which was unbelievable. But then, like my decision would be to skip US Open because she was really, really tired, and we had a big problem with the transportation from Monterrey to New York. I don't want to blame nobody, but it was very bad organized. We were actually, the mother of Lulu, she was organizing a private jet, so we could fly early. But the WTA, they provided the private jet, but unfortunately this private jet was too small, and they had to land in Houston and refuel, and the journey took forever. And they came to New York late Sunday, and she was playing Monday in the evening. And obviously, she was tired. It was a little bit drizzling in New York. She slipped in the third game in New York, and she dislocated a little bit her hip and the back. And so like it's very unfortunate, but this is sport. And obviously we were trying to get back as soon as possible, but we couldn't do it, and we had to like finish the season early. And then we had a good plan to go and prepare and do some fitness and preparation in Florida. So we started actually well, but then in Florida she got again some health issues, and the preparation was kind of too short, and she was going into the season with very low confidence, I would say, and a lot of expectation and a lot of pressure. And I saw that she was just like really mentally not able to go through this. And we were trying also, like I don't really prefer to work with the psychologist, but I was already proposing to work with one. But then Lulu decided to stop the relationship, and yeah, that's it. I think
It's so
the
difficult.
expectations, yeah, the expectations were too high. January, February was not too good, and this is, like I said, it's sports, and
Mm.
sometimes some things you cannot predict.
Yeah. I think we don't talk about perhaps enough about the pressure of after you do well in a tournament like a Wimbledon, because your name gets put up there, doesn't it? And now you become the hunted as opposed to the hunter,
I
and it's
know,
a
I
very
know.
difficult
Yeah,
proposition.
yeah, I know, and I really try to, minimize the pressure. I really try to plan well, the preparations and the let's say the breaks between the tournaments, so they can a
Yeah.
little bit rest and so on and so on. But this was like so unfortunate, like I said, because she did well so suddenly, and then you have the Grand Slam, which you obviously want to play, and then you get injured, and then you go to preparation in Florida, and after 1 week you get another health issue. It was not a big injury, but she was having some issues with her health, and she couldn't play for like 7 8 days. And then the preseason was suddenly coming to an end very quickly, and she was super stressed, and so like I said, it's very difficult. And then in January February, we were trying to practice well, and I think she was a little bit getting better. She beat Garcia in Doha. It was a good match, but then the next match again she was a little bit down, and I saw that she's burned out kind of, because usually she was able to fight, even she was not playing maybe her best, because my opinion is that you can play your best maybe a couple of weeks per year, but the rest you have to fight. And maybe also in Monterrey, actually, in the beginning matches were not as good, and then she was playing better and better.
Mhm.
So that's tennis, what is about, and Nadal is talking about it, Federer is talking about it. So it's not like you can play your perfect tennis every day. So it's more about finding the solution, and finding the way to beat the opponent, stay in the tournament, and maybe prepare better for the next match or feel better in the next match. So, well, like I said, it was I think a lot of pressure come always from outside. Like I was a player, I was a top junior. I had a lot of pressure from my father. Um, even when I was playing ATP, okay, I made it maybe to 370 best ranking, but I think all the guys top 500, 600 are very good players. It's a high level. It's just like really, really difficult to jump from the Challenger Tour to the ATP Tour, especially I was traveling since I was 16 years old. I was traveling alone, no coach, no money, so it was difficult, and I learned a lot out of it, obviously. But I learned on my own mistakes, which cost time and money. But thankful for that, so I can use it as a coach, and I can little bit use this experience of me playing and struggling towards the player. It makes me a better coach, I think, and obviously I'm the last person who wants to put pressure, and I see that a lot of pressure is coming from outside. It's coming from press, it's coming from parents, it's coming from coaches, it's coming from managers. It's coming from the outside world, and sometimes I am just not able to help the player. It is what it is, and even I try, I cannot succeed. And I think like it's not so much about tennis. I think it's more about the mental part,
Yeah.
because I think the top 200, 300 players, they're all good, but there is the difference is that first of all, they practice wrong. They practice really, really with the bad technique, with the bad game plan, with the bad fitness coaches. They over practice. I always say that a lot of players, they want to run 100 meters, but they practice marathon. So
Yes.
they get slow, and they get like they play low intensity. So I think I am the coach who really wants to play the smart game, which is like I really like Andreeva now, because she's showing the girls that she can serve big, she can return big, but she also can stay in long rallies, and she can be intense and making no mistakes, which is the future of the tennis, and which was always the future of the tennis. Because I really hate the coaches who are very theoretical, and they are like stuck to some um, statistics, the why practice long rallies if the rally average rally is 3 4 balls, 4 5 balls, which is I think absolute average. Because then when Djokovic and Nadal and Sinner, they start to play rallies when it's 4 all, 5 all in the third set, fifth set. These guys are not missing. They are moving unbelievable. They are 195 tall. So also they can have excuse like, oh, he's tall, he's not moving well, which is not true. They are all tall and they are all moving great, and they are all around players. They can do whatever you can dream of. They can play long rallies, they can play serve and volley, they can slice, they can drop shot, they can spin, they can angle. So whatever I get to work with, obviously I know what the player likes and what are the player uh, weapons, and what I want to do, what kind of game plan I want to implement in that player, because obviously we need to have a good game plan for every player is different. Kasatkina is a defensive player. Nadia Petrova is a big girl. It's a aggressive player. Cibulkova was pretty skilled in everything. She was small, but she could hit. She could defend. She was moving well. So obviously, I'm as a coach. With so many results, I'm able to adjust and see which game plan is the best for every player that I coach. But like I said, I wanna on the way, and longer the way, more I can teach the player to be a little bit more all around player, more skill player. Have more options to win the match. And like I said, because the circus, the tennis circus is so crazy and so demanding, because there is not too much time to prepare. That's why, obviously, longer you can spend with the player, more years you can spend, and every preseason, every little time you can work on few things, and that makes you better.
Yeah.
If I don't get this time, obviously, I'm not able to develop the player the way I would love to. And then many times, with my previous players, they were young, and I was taking them very quickly from 300, 200 to top 20, top 30, top 50. And then obviously the pressure comes, but many times I was cut off from the player because of not because of my relationship with the player, but because of other people involved. And it always harmed the player. Most of the players, they dropped in the rankings. They were having a couple of bad years. Eventually they could come back. Some of them, they never came back. So
Mm.
this is unfortunate, but it's like I said, like it was never my intention, because like when I work with the player and we are improving, and we respect each other, there is never a reason for me to break the relationship. But like I said, many times it was not done by me or the player. It was mostly done by a third person involved, and it's a shame. But I think I'm speaking for a lot of coaches, because I'm 49 years old. I'm 26 years coaching, and I hear this from many coaches, especially from coaches who really did the development.
Yes.
And it's a sad story, because it's like you're building a house, and then somebody like just steals the house. And I know it. I don't have a problem to stop or to break up with the player, but many times it's just like the way it's done is totally unfair towards the coach. Yeah.
I'd imagine it's a bit like a pop star who sort of lives their life on the periphery of greatness, and then suddenly, when they break through, all these people suddenly have a lot of interest, and they've got a lot of people listening and talking to them in their ears, and they don't quite know who to trust.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
perhaps the
And they are
people with
young. Mm.
yeah, the young, perhaps the people with great families around them. I'm thinking like a Coco Gauff or perhaps a Federer can
Yeah.
actually understand who they should be listening to, and perhaps more importantly, who they shouldn't. But
Yeah, I
people that
mean,
come from
it
difficult
happened.
families.
It happened to Novak also. Novak, because he used to have a Slovak coach, and obviously, I was following the story, and Novak, when he broke into, I think, top five or top three in the world the first time, they actually got rid of the coach, because they were thinking he needs something special. They were working with Todd Martin, and then after a few months, Novak, he just asked the Slovak coach to come back,
Yes.
and
Are we talking Marion Vida?
yeah, and he was lucky that, like I said, that first of all, I always say, like, if you want to break up with the coach, it doesn't matter if it's me or any other coach, it's fine. If you are a good coach, you understand the parents, you understand the manager, you understand the player, and I think it's okay to break up, because they are looking for something better to improve their tennis. But I always say, do it in a fair way, because
Yes.
if you were successful, and if this guy was helping you and you reached your highest ranking, which I did with many players, I reached almost the highest ranking with all of them with a very young age, and working with them like 3 years and something like that. So you know uh, don't break with the coach in a bad way,
Yes.
because you can say, Vlado, listen, I want to, I feel like I need something new, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me try maybe 1 2 3 months somebody else. I even pay you a salary for 2 3 months to wait for me, and if it's not going to work out, I would like to have you back. Or
Yeah.
if it works out, we go separate ways. So, but many times they are just not capable of doing this. You cannot imagine how many times the parents, the player, they didn't pay my last month of salary, even being top 20 in the world,
Wow.
or speculating, or doing all kind of things. So I obviously, like, and then they are going down in the rankings, and I think they would probably maybe like to call me back, but they know what they did to me, so they know that the train is gone. So, like, if I can give advice to parents and players, don't do that, because, like I said, if somebody is helping you for 3 4 5 years and you have great results, and maybe you feel you are stuck somewhere or you want to improve more, I think it's much better to either, like I said, split and tell the coach to wait a couple of months, or maybe just add somebody to the
Yeah.
team, because, like, the coach who create your base, and the coach who improve you from 400 to top 20, or from 200 to top 20, or top 50 even, this coach gave you such a big knowledge and base, and the coach knows you so well. So it would be very difficult for any other coach to come and continue, because every coach has different point of view and opinion, and
Mm.
there is a high risk of somebody is going to destroy you, kind of. So
Yes.
yeah, I
The
mean,
same
this
in
is
all
the story.
businesses.
Yeah, this is the story that I hear many times
Mm.
from coaches, and unfortunately, I know that now a lot of people, they are talking about, like, player abuse and blah blah blah, but I think there is more coach abuse on the tour than the player abuse. We don't have anybody to protect the coaches. We don't have any rules for coaching. Anybody can be a coach.
Yeah.
And then what I see, that obviously, like, many people, they're trying to take advantage. It's just like, kind of not coaching, but it's brainwashing. A lot of coaches are lying about their credentials, like about their life. I hear coaches telling players, I was top 100, they never ever even existed on the tour, or ITF tour, or ATP tour, or any tour. And obviously, a lot of coaches are saying, I work with this guy, that girl. And like, it may be a truth, but maybe they work with them month, 2 3, did nothing, and they just put it in their CV, and then after 10 years, 20 years, nobody remembers, and they are
Right.
just going around and jumping from one player to another. So that's why I'm super proud that I was always trying to help player who was really needing the help, who was ranked 300, 400. I found sponsors. I developed the player. Most of the times, all the girls which were out of top 100, I really found a sponsor. It was not only me coming and taking money and working. I really, these people, they were in big troubles with money, and then I found a sponsor. I said to the sponsor, the people that I know and are wealthy, I told them, like, to invest, or to trust me with my feeling, and I was always successful, actually, with these investments, and we did great results. So this was my goal, to not only come and kind of use a product which was already done, and I was trying really, like, to help these kids, because I think it was my complex, honestly. When I was top 10 in the world, I didn't have 1 cent, I didn't have 1 hour with the coach. So it was a little bit my complex, and maybe that's why I was just feeling so bad for these players when I saw them, and they were loving tennis, and they had some skills which I believe that if I improve those skills, then they can at least make money from tennis. Top 100 was the first goal, but then most of them, they were working so well, and then really, like I said, I went with 2 girls with 19 years old, from 17 years old to top 20, which was amazing. And I think, like, a lot of people, they didn't really believe into those players. They were not, like, top talents. They were maybe top 10 juniors, but they were not like number one, two winning Grand Slams juniors. So I think, this was something like I really like people don't really realize, what I did. And like I said, I did it alone. I didn't have any federation behind me. I didn't have, a big team or big management behind me. It was more like me believing into these kids and helping those kids. So this is a different story.
Yeah. So let's come into the present day, because I'd like to discuss the fact that any coach can essentially join any tour at some point. But let's do that a little later. Let's chat now about after you broke up with Lulu Sun. How did it come about that you then worked on a trial basis with Emma?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I wrote to the father of Emma because, like I said, we were discussing already for 3 years, and I know, obviously it's not easy also for Emma, to perform, and I'm like 100% sure that she's under so much pressure because. I flew to Indian Wells. We were talking about the options, how to start. The option was to start immediately, then after Indian Wells, between Indian Wells and Miami, and then after Miami, and just do like good preparation before clay. So Emma chose to take me or bring me to Indian Wells immediately. So when I came to Indian Wells, it was just one day before her match in Indian Wells. I must say, I saw the practice and I was not really happy the way she was practicing, but I didn't want to interfere. And then actually the match proved me right that I think the preparation was not too good. When we discussed it, I told her that obviously she was playing a lot of hand feed balls and a lot of drills kind of, and there was not too much live ball exercises. So I said, like, like when I was watching her match, it was kind of she couldn't stay in the rallies. She didn't know how to move correctly with her feet to the ball. There was a lot of like open stance kind of shots where it should be a close stance, and sometimes she was too close to the ball, sometimes she was too far from the ball. She didn't really know, how to react to the different spin and bounce because the girl she was playing, it was also windy and she was spinning the ball a lot, so it was a lot of change of rhythm. But anyway, like I said, for me was just like little bit of not enough live tennis, live hitting balls on the move, especially on the move. And then also I was a little bit surprised with her tactics because it looked like she wants to play very aggressive, very aggressive. No rallies. She wanted to serve very big, but the serve was not working. So after we came to Miami, I proposed to her to take a sparring and do a lot of balls on the move, and she impressed me. She impressed me there because the first practice we were playing cross and down the line rallies, and like my goal was to play a lot of balls on the run, but also not to make her tired because we only had like 10 days. So we did like 20 balls without stopping, cross line drill, and then 1 minute break, and we would do this 5 times. So it was always 20 balls, 1 minute break, which was 100 balls. Then we would have a longer break, 3 minutes, and then we would repeat it, and we would do that for 5 times, which was 500 balls. And she was very good. Her endurance was unbelievable. I was super surprised that she could do, and she was trying to even, she was even trying to shorten the breaks between the 20-point balls. But I was trying to explain to her that I know and I see that she has a good endurance, but I was telling her, like, if we do this for 1 hour, I want to keep the intensity, I want to keep the shot quality, and also like the footwork quality. And my goal was not to make her tired. That maybe half of the practice we will do good and half of the practice we will do bad. Like kind of slower and less intensity. She did well. She did well. She even with shortening a little bit the pause, the time between the balls. she did really well. 1 hour. I think the sparring partner died like 5 times during that practice, and this was very impressive. And after this practice, I told her, like, you see, Emma, like, you have to work with God gave you the gift,
Yes.
and you are a good mover. You are a light girl, and my goal would be like to try to improve the serve, because the serve is always a weapon, and that's what I was like thinking to work on a little bit more and try to improve, because I was a big server. I was, it was my best shot, and then like I was trying to improve her stability in the rallies, because like I said, she was just coming not correct to the balls. She would she
Yes.
would she would not hit in a correct stance here and there, and then she would either play too short or too soft or make a mistake. And with the correct stance, she started to play more solid. The balls were flying faster. The balls were flying more with the placement and depth. So she was actually dying for 2 days, 3 days, and then on the fourth day she came and she said, like, Vlado, I think I start to feel the ball better, which was very
Mm.
nice. And because the first 3 days I saw that she was very tense, and like I see, she wrote today a nice interview, which I'm very very thankful, for, because like I think we really did a good job the 10 days. And I believe, like she said, it's very difficult to trust somebody. You start in the middle of the tournament, and then this guy is coming and, like, trying to help you. I was not pushing her too much. I was really relaxed, because, like I said, I'm the last person who want to put pressure, but also I want to help the girl. Even I have 10 days, I want to help her to promote to perform better. And we were watching a lot of videos, we were taking a lot of videos of her, and then we were comparing it to the top players. And she really saw that what I was saying, that all the best players do, when there was a ball, even it was a difficult ball, and the guys, they were able to play close stands on the run. They were playing close stands on the run, which she was a little bit, not understanding. And then she was getting it, and like I said, like, I never saw anybody improve so fast, like she was improving so much. And like I said, even I saw that, it's not always something she wants to hear, but she was doing it. And like I said, I was using everything. I was using the videos, I was using, even I was playing with her, and I was trying to, show her that I'm freaking 120 kilogram, and I can make it on close 10 all the time, right? Because
Yes.
it's not like I want her to play every shot of close stance, but I said, like, if you are able to play close stance in this exercise that we are doing, because it was not like super super fast, but it was maybe medium speed, then it will be easy for you to take the ball and be more stable even from the open stance, right? Because she would do, like, especially open stance forehand, and she would jump up or she would jump to the left. So I said, like, even you play open stance, you need to be stable, or if you have to jump, you need to kind of follow through the ball. You cannot jump to the left or jump up. So this was like the little principles of the body weight, of hitting zone. Then we were doing a lot of, like, I was trying to tell her, like, I always call. Now I'm giving you a lot of information, but whatever. uh, I was telling her that the wrist, for me, the wrist is magic. The wrist is magic because, first of all, the wrist works like a little insurance for the shot. Because if you are able to feel the ball with the wrist, you will always kind of put the ball in the court. And then, the magic of the wrist is that even you are not there with your feet, and it's a difficult ball, the wrist can always help you to kind of, still put the ball in the court, and trying to, make the life of your opponent difficult. So we were a little bit trying to improve this on the forehand, especially the wrist. So she was trying to put, like, a little bit more spin in some difficult positions. I was also explaining to her that, like, sometimes, she puts good pressure on the opponent, and then she want to hit the flat winner. And I said, like, the flat winner is not hurting the opponent, because you are not using the angle. So whenever
Mm.
you have a slow ball, then you have two options. You have the option to go down the line, which is the fastest winner, or you don't go cross flat, because then you are not opening the court. So I said, like, if you have the chance, you have to choose angle, forehand cross court, more angle, aggressive, or go down the line, but don't go flat corners, because then you don't really open the court. So there was like a lot which I understand, and I was telling her I don't want to give you a lot of information, and she was like, no, 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 I can take it, give me more information, I am the girl who wants information. So like I said, that's why probably she improved so much, because she wanted the information. With many girls and with many players, they're like, no, Vlado, it's too much, don't tell me this, don't tell me that, keep it simple. And Emma was wanting, she was wanting the information, and I believe it was difficult for her. But after a week, we started to play more sparrings, and she was beating Rybakina, she was beating Kudermetova, and all the sparring, and she was improving. She was able to stay in the rallies, and then also, like, one big thing or two big things was the serve, because she was a little bit struggling with the she was a little bit struggling with the swing on the serve. And I was this was like a little bit difficult, because I didn't see the problem the first 2 3 days. We were doing a lot of video and slow motion, and then she was like, she was having a bad feeling about the swing, and I realized it's not the swing was clean. And I just told her, like, maybe try to toss the ball higher, because I think the problem was that she was feeling that the swing is a problem, the beginning of the swing. But in reality, it was the toss, because the toss was a little bit too low, and then she was not having time to come up and hit the ball, and she was always kind of you know having the ball too low, so she couldn't really swing on the ball. And once she started to toss maybe 20 centimeters higher, she was able to use more legs, and she was able to feel the swing in a correct way. The timing was correct. So
Okay.
this way, she started to serve better, which was amazing. But then the problem was with the second serve, because I was not sure what she wants to do. I was asking her, like, what kind of serve you are serving on the second serve, because it was kind of slice, and she said, like, she wants to serve kick. And that then this was a little bit easier for me, because I said, like, yes, but you're trying to serve kick, but your toss is too high, so there is no way you can brush the ball up, because your toss was too high, and you were trying to kick it, but obviously there was no kick coming out. And first of all, was low security, so there was a couple of double faults coming, in the tense moments. And then when she started to feel the kick a little bit, the toss more to the left, a little bit lower, and then brushing up, she started to feel the security. And actually, after 2 days of serving like this, I said, look, it looks really good. So it's okay to serve this way, but try to add a little bit more speed on the kick. And she started to add a little bit more speed, and even the second serve started to be very dangerous. So when I saw the first round, I was like, wow, it's working. Even she was playing with the girl, which was not high ranked, but the girl is dangerous. She beat some good players already. 180 in the world. She's a good player. And Emma was like, really, like, it was from the book. She was having perfect footwork, good serving, solid in the rallies. She was not rushing, because that's what I told her. Don't rush. Like, you have to make these girls tired. With the good quality shots, and then you just make some free points with the big serve, or sometimes when you have a chance, you go for some big returns. And I always say, like, you have to win 4 points. So if you win two points with the big serve and 2 points with long rallies, it's good. If you win 2 points with the aggressive return and again two big rallies, again the game is yours. So this combination works for her, and she can mix it up, and she can stay in the rallies. She can also hit some big returns, and it looks like it works for her. And like I said, I'm really, really very, very happy that she made this comment today, in the newspaper. And like I said, like, I'm absolutely not angry or anything, because like I told you, that it's so much pressure on these girls, and so I understand everything, and I'm just super happy that it worked for her. You know.
Yeah, she was very respectful, wasn't she? In the newspapers at the time of recording, Emma Raducanu is in the quarterfinals of Miami, and it looks like she appreciates the work that you have done. But it is hard, isn't it?
That's all I
Because
need.
yeah,
That's all I
well,
need, because this is
yeah,
the best. That's why I do it. If the player tells me that it's working, and say thank you, because many times they are not saying thank you, and this is the
Mm.
bad part of the job.
Yes.
And this is nice to hear. And like I said, yeah, I'm happy it works. Uh, and I said also in the newspaper that obviously, it was maybe a situation. She was feeling under pressure. If she needs some more help, she can do some weeks with me.
Yeah.
If I can help, I will help. And yeah, I'm like, it's all good. It's all good. Like, obviously, people and newspaper, they look for sensation, but there is no sensation. It's just a fragile human being, and looking for help, looking for advice, looking for right people around her. And sometimes it's difficult to find. Sometimes sometimes you never find them.
No, that's a really good point. So, in a statement, Raducanu's management said, "quote Emma has the utmost respect for Vlado and the work they started, but it wasn't quite heading in the right direction." So, can you fast forward now to describe and just let us know what happened? Because it seemed like everything you were doing was working
Yeah.
well, that she was pleased with it. The serve that had really crumbled at the Australian Open, even though she won a couple of rounds. I commentated on a lot of her matches for AO Radio, and then actually did the Stalker match in Dubai when she played
Yeah.
against Karolina Mukova happened,
Yeah.
and she was still struggling a little bit with the serve. But the serve, as you said, has appeared to be miraculously fixed now in Miami, where, as I
Yeah.
said, the time of recording, she's in the quarterfinals. So why did it come to an end?
She's super talented, she's super talented, and I think she's also smart. Maybe sometimes too smart is also not good, because you think so much and you overthink, and you complicate things for yourself, because I think you should keep it simple, because it's a fast game. And sometimes, even the simple things are hard to learn when the people around you also overthink. You are kind of in trouble. So if you teach them the right things in an easy way, which I was trying to do, and then suddenly things are working. But it's not suddenly, it's just the basics, it's the correct basics, for me at least. So like what happened, like I said, I think, obviously, I'm new face. The tournament in Indian Wells didn't go well. She was looking for some help though in that tournament, and she was trying, what should I do? She was asking me, but I couldn't help her that much, because I didn't have enough time with her, and I think she was a little bit scared of the match in Miami, probably also. And like she wrote, she wanted to see some faces that she already knows for a long time. So, like, for me, absolutely normal. For me, absolutely normal, because, like I said, it's a stressful situation. Yeah, the comment of the management, I mean, it's a little bit unlucky maybe, but I'm also like absolutely not upset, because they have to find some reason. And I don't think they even also were thinking that really she did that improvement and she would play so well in Miami. So I'm happy that it's the opposite. And I, like I said, and also Emma, she confirmed that we did good work. So this is also, like, you have to understand, the management is also not easy for them. The media is watching, and they try to come out with some reasonable kind of excuse. So absolutely normal, absolutely normal. And like I said, everybody's trying to do as little damage as possible, because we are professionals, and we know, nobody wants to kill any relationship or anything. And uh, and I think everybody tried to do it very diplomatic. Obviously it's not possible because she's such a big star, and it's such a bad time now, Miami and Indian Wells. And so it's really difficult. People are watching, but again, I'm so super happy that it turned out this way, and she's playing well, and I hope she will go even further. And I believe she can, if she can hold it together. And yeah, I'm super happy. Like I said, I was a little bit afraid, that she forgets about me. But like I said, I was super super happy that she said this to the newspaper. And you know good relationship, great.
Yeah, I mean, she's there's no doubt a fantastic player, and I've commentated in commentary before about when she breaks a fingernail, the British newspapers will report it because she's such big
Exactly.
news. And for a
Yeah,
young woman to have that on their shoulders must be
yeah, yeah.
incredibly difficult.
Oh,
Um,
it's tough. It's tough, you know. It's tough. Even guys, even men, they have issues. You see Rublev, you know. You see these guys.
yeah,
You know, they don't have to work all their life. They have everything. They have money. They have health. They are good health and everything, and still they have depression because they want to do better. So this
yeah,
is, I think, remarkable because most of the people, you know, after earning 20, 30, 40, 50 million, you know, they would just like, okay, it's, I don't care, you know, I have a good life. So these guys, they really like tennis. They really like to do better and better, which is also, you know, the reason why they have this kind of mental, you know, issues. And they just need correct people around them. They just need
yeah,
the correct advice, no pressure. You know, you see that they want to win. You see that they are putting pressure on themselves, so they don't need anybody else to put pressure on them. And obviously, like Emma, I knew, I said it before that I knew that it's so difficult, you know, to kind of work with her because all of this media attention, you know, unfortunately it's like this. But you know, I hope that the older she gets and better she gets, more confident she gets, then she will be also more, she will be taking it more easy with the media.
yeah.
And one thing I want to say, obviously, because I always say this to my players, the stress comes always from not knowing. So I said, like, if you have a good knowledge about what you need to do and what is the biomechanical of the shot, what is the right shot selection, what is the right footwork, what, you know, all these things, because you are learning University of Tennis. It's not just like going on the court and exercising, because that's a trained monkey. And then
Yes,
when you get under pressure, when you get you know, when the player or something is not working well, then you start to panic, right? And then you are stressed. But you know, you never get stressed if you have options. And then, you know, if you have the knowledge about the game and you need what needs to be done, then you become more solid and you start to win more matches. And you know, like sometimes you're gonna lose because it's not your day or the opponent plays better, but altogether you know what you are doing on the court. And I think sometimes, you know, a lot of players, especially girls, you know, they don't really know what they need to do. Like that's why I loved so much to watch Sharapova or Serena, because you know they were really developed a little bit differently. You know, like Serena, if she would miss a shot, she would always show herself, you know, like, ah, Serena, stay in the shot. You know, she was kind of analyzing why she made the mistake. But when you look at the lower ranked players, whenever they miss, they look at the coach. Why I missed the
yes,
shot? Why, you know? So this is like I said, you know, if you are developing the right direction and you know what you need to do, and you can analyze yourself, you can analyze your opponent, you know, then you get more solid, and even you are not playing your best tennis, you find a way how to win the match.
yeah. No, I understand that, and I think Raducanu is extremely bright. We know that because she has very good A levels, having been to school as well as
Yeah,
playing on the tour, which is quite unbelievable.
yeah,
My son
yeah.
is doing A levels right now, and I know how much work that takes. So she is definitely a special individual. And we
Mm.
hear in the media that her father, Ian, is sort of the mastermind behind everything that's going
Mhm.
on. And I know, as you said earlier in this interview, that he was the one that had sort of contacted you for many years to try and see if you
Yeah.
were on board. So how was it? I believe from what I read in the media that you were supposed to work until kind of Roland Garros in May. That was meant to be the trial period. Were you surprised that that ended so quickly? And how was it done?
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, you know, it's really something that is very difficult because like I told you before, people don't understand how difficult it is, you know, for the player, you know, to kind of you know, play on certain level and every day play, you know, and win. But
Yes,
also they don't understand how difficult it is to be a coach, because you are getting paid, especially tennis coach, because you are getting paid first from the parents, because the players, they don't make money, and then you get paid from the player. So you know, you as a tennis coach, and if you want to be successful, you need to find a way how to be honest with your player, which means, like, you know, criticize them in the right moment and tell them what they need to do and what they don't need to do. And sometimes they don't like it, and you know, they are paying you. So So it's very difficult, sometimes, and especially when the players they reach certain ranking and they start to make certain amount of money and they become famous. Some of them they just lose the respect of the coach because I'm paying this guy, I'm making big money. Why he's criticizing me? Why he's But tennis is honest sport, like I said before, and if you're not doing things correct for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, there will be a payback on the court. There will
Yes.
be a payback, and this is what I try also to teach my players. That like your career is 10 years. Let's do this. Let's please stay strong, stay humble, stay on the ground. Don't fly too high. Because there is another thousand of players and kids and juniors who are on the way up, right? And in one moment they're gonna beat you if you are not going to respect the coach. And I'm the last one. I want to sit in the box, have a coffee, and clap. That's the perfect. That's the perfect plan. But like I said, if I see that things need to be done, and I always say, and I always analyze the game both ways, and I analyze what was good and I analyze what was bad. It's not always everything bad and it's not always everything good. So if you want to improve, you always need to work on something. Even on your weapons, you need to improve your weapons, otherwise you're going to lose them,
Yep.
and so on. So the parents come with it, the families come with it, in the package. And this is a big problem. This is a big problem because many times, I respect them because these parents they give education to the kids. They give them kind of the character they have. They give them the respect. They teach them the right things because obviously otherwise they wouldn't be top athletes or top people in their business. But many times they are not able to let go, because in one moment, unfortunately, if the coach is really really good, the coach has much more knowledge and the kids they need to go their way. And sometimes the parents they are stuck in the past. And I have coaches who the parents they didn't travel for 5 years because they didn't have money. And so the coach was coaching the girl for 5 years, brought her to top 10, and then the money is there, the parents start to travel, and they just don't like how the coach is talking to the girl, or they don't like she's playing too much or she's working too hard. And because they completely lost the track of what actually the girl is doing. And this is what I compare always with working in the bank. Because if you are going to university and you go to work to the bank, your mother is not sitting next to you in the office. You start to be on your own. You need to think on your own. And the kids also change. With the girl is not the same with 16 and 21. And also she has more knowledge about the game and she has different ways of dealing with the things. And then there is a lot of the problems are starting because there is a lot of contradiction. I had a player, she was super untalented and super nice girl and super smart girl, and she made top 50 singles, top 20 doubles. And the mother was not happy because the mother said, like, for our family is not enough to be top 50, and the girl needs to win grand slams. And why you teaching my kid spin? Because my girl, she needs to play winners from every shot. Like nonsense. And what can you do? What can you do? Then you start the fight and you are between the player and the coach and the mother or parents. And then you're gonna lose anyway. And
Yep.
the biggest loser is the player because we were doing fine, and then she drops out of top 100, and so like it's like 90% that the player is gonna collapse.
Yep.
And because it's nonsense what the parents are sometimes they want from the kid, from the coach. So it's very difficult. And I must say that Ian was in Miami. We had very good talks. He was super happy. He was like following the practices. And I think I was really happy because I never heard a father thank me so many times that Ian thanked me after the practices. He was like, Vlado, you are doing everything what I wish a coach would do with my daughter, and she was improving, and we were having discussions. And like I said, I'm understandable, and I want to educate the parents, and I want to tell them what I'm working on with the player, and because I want them to feel comfortable that they can put the kid in my hands. You know what I mean? So, and he was as surprised as me, when Emma stopped the cooperation. But I told him it's okay, Ian, it's fine, don't worry. I said, like, if she decide to work later with me because it was just too fast or whatever, and like I said, she was playing good, she was
Yeah.
improving, and then I told him there is absolutely no bad feelings, absolutely no bad feelings. So I was actually very good with Ian, and like I said, Emma was just a little bit stressed. So and I told him it's I don't blame you. I don't blame her. It's just too much pressure, and she was not doing well for such a long time since US Open, and probably she
Mm.
wants to win another Grand Slam, and she wants to prove everybody that she can do it, which is a bad motivation. Because, like I said, if you want to prove people that you can do something, it's most of the time you will not succeed. It has to
Yeah.
be you. You have to do it for yourself. You have to be happy with what you are doing. You have to see that you are improving, kind of, and trust the coach and trust the people around you. So like I said, absolutely no bad feeling. Especially, like I said, we stop in a good way. Everything gets paid, everything gets, like, shake hands, hugs, good luck, whatever in the future. Maybe, like I said, maybe, she will realize, I had these players in the past. They called me after 6 months, said, Vlado, made a mistake now. After the season, I look back, and like, everything you said was super, and I would like to have you back. I had two players like this, and there is not nothing nicer to hear. And I love these girls, and I love these people, and like I said, everybody makes mistakes, and especially, like, during the season when you have so much stress, it's totally understandable from my side.
Well, that's very good of you. I'd love to kind of move on now because there is no
No,
protection, is there, for coaches on the ATP or WTA? You
no,
week to week you're paid. That's what I understand. You
yeah,
hope
yeah,
that
or
the
not paid,
player
or not
or
paid.
not paid exactly.
I told
You're
you how
hoping
many
that they come
times.
through.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't understand. Like really, like, these people, they we would have a contract, and I would take the girl, like I said, from 400 to top 20, or from 50 to top 20. They have high rankings, they are making millions of money, and then they would, like, not them, but the people around them, they would, like, imagine the girl I take from whatever to top 20, like, really really working 3 years, and then you go to Wimbledon, the girl is playing third round singles, third round doubles. I'm going to see my family,
Mm,
and there is a flight at 6 a.m. And I'm telling the team, the people who were dealing with the tickets, whatever, family members. I'm telling them, I would like to get this flight. It was a 180 pound flight to Split, because my family was in Croatia, after Wimbledon, and I was having maybe 5 days off with them. So I was like, can you get me the flight at 6 a.m., because it's like EasyJet, 180 pounds. And so, they look into the phone, and, they tell me, like, oh, Vlado, take the flight at 5 p.m. And I'm like, no, I'm going to lose another day with my family. I need to take the flight at 6. And they would tell me, yeah, but the flight at 5 is 20 pounds cheaper. After 3 years of work, taking the girl to top 20 in the world, making 5-6 million of prize money only. So how would you
unbelievable.
feel? How would you feel? And this
Yeah.
happened many times. This happened many times during the year, and like, very disrespectful, very bad behavior. And the girl, and I see that the girl, she loves me because I take the girl to top 20, and we have good relationship. But she also love her family members, and she's
Yeah.
just stuck between, and it's just like getting worse and worse, the relationship, until eventually it ends. And then at the end, they don't even pay my flight ticket back from China,
Yeah.
700 euros. So I'm like, because of peanuts, you just completely destroyed the relationship. You know what I mean?
Well, it's so
So
disrespectful, isn't it?
super disrespectful, and then you have a girl. I was taking a girl from, let's say, 40 to number 17, and imagine, we would work good. She would play finals of WTA tournaments. We would have a good preparation. And then, also the family member, he would like just start to mix into the relationship and doing a lot of like bad things. And we would end up like, she would not pay me my salary, she wouldn't pay the travel agent here in Slovakia like 10,000 euro, like criminal for me. It's just criminal. Like, how do
Yes.
you, I said like, okay, you are 17 in the world, I'm bad coach, don't pay me, but please, you were flying to Australia, three people, you have to pay the 10,000 euro to the travel agent. No, they will not. And what do you want to do? Like, you want to sue these people for 10,000 euro?
Yeah.
You're gonna spend another 20 for the lawyers, and it's gonna take 5 years, and maybe you will not get your money even. So, like,
Yeah.
like how you can be so rude, so bad, and I'm not mentioning names, but this is what I'm telling you, that like,
Mhm.
yes, there is, maybe sometimes it happens that the coach is not behaving well to the player, but what I hear from other coaches, it's 70% more happening to the
Yeah.
coaches, and nobody protects us. There is no protection.
Do you think there could be a way, hopefully, if the WTA, ATP are listening to this, is there a way that something could be done that at least the coach could have a protection of getting paid or a contract through the tours of some kind, even for the strength and conditioning, the physios? Because, of course, now players are getting bigger and bigger entourages, but it seems like you are
Well, I mean,
simply on your own.
like I said, they earn enough money. I'm telling you, if I would take the girl from 40, 50, and I would take her to 200, I would apologize and leave, and I would tell her, please don't pay the salary because I did such a
Mm.
bad job. But you
Yes.
are taking from somebody from 40, 50 to top 20, playing finals of WTA tour, semi-final of Indian Wells, like doing good, but obviously, like I said, I understand they are stressed. I understand that sometimes they don't really understand what I'm telling them, and I'm
Mm.
building them, because obviously the relationship has to start somewhere. But I said, well, I was a player and I see that I'm improving, you know, okay, let's go. Let's give me
Yeah.
more, practice more, because I'm winning, I'm improving. The ball goes where I want the ball to go. I'm stronger, I'm better, I'm beating people. So there would be no way that somebody would take me from this coach. No way,
Yeah.
and sometimes I just like, it's sometimes difficult because I see that there is other people more important. I don't say family. It's also other people who really can kind of brainwash the player and comfort the player, and kind of the player actually forgets why they are on the tour, why I'm doing this, because I need
Yeah.
the people who are you know showing me the mirror, and who are helping me to be better every day. And sometimes I have the feeling that, especially when they reach some higher rankings, that they forget all about this, and then they just need people around them who comfort them.
Correct.
So yeah, it's tough, and it's always, like I said, not everybody can be number one, not everybody can be number two or 50 or 100. Everybody has limits. It's mostly mental limits, or people around you limits, because people around you are limiting you many times. But there is not much we can do. What ATP and WT they can do, like I said, they earn enough money. They earn enough money, and I think the WT and ATP, they should protect the coaches the way that they can protect the contract. Because
Yes.
if the coach, he did the job, and the girl is not visibly injured, or dropping from top 100 to 400, and it can happen that you have some bad times or whatever, and you decide to stop with the coach, but you have to respect the contract, because it's not always the coach mistake. Sometimes the girl doesn't want to listen, sometimes the families are interfering, and so on and so on. So if you want to stop, okay, you have to stop in a correct way. If you don't stop in correct way, then a WTA should respect the contract, the ITP should respect the contract, and they should take the money away from the prize money and pay the coach.
Yeah.
This is the simplest way how to deal with these things. The problem is, like, when there is a player abuse, then the player gets protected, right?
Yes.
And sometimes I don't think that it's always correct, but all right, they kind of try to protect the players, but you cannot be in this business. It's like, imagine NBA or other sports or soccer or NHL or NFL, that these organizations, they only take care of players. There is coaches, there is fitness coaches, there is managers, there is like, you know, I know that, the relationship and professional relationship is between the player and the coach, but then, you know, what is the role of the coach? Like I think there is no top player without a good coach. Like I don't think
Correct.
Federer, you know, he was a super talent, but I don't think he did it alone. I don't think
You
any
can't.
player did it alone.
Mm,
So, I think the coach's job should be respected. I think the WTA can implement this. The ATP can implement this, and they can, kind of raise the bar. And also in that way, they will raise the respect to the coach, because now everybody knows, like, whatever we do, we get protected, because all it takes is say a couple of lies. The
yes.
coach abused me, the manager abused me, I don't know, whoever abused me, and then actually the coach gets in troubles. So they're all afraid a little bit, maybe to get in, the fight with the player, or put information in the newspaper, because then they're afraid to lose the job, lose the name.
Yes.
For me, the simplest way is, the WTA and ATP, they should, make a kind of, how do you call it, mm,
Sort of an agreement
yeah,
that they
agreement,
will.
or they should put it in their rules that,
Yes.
whoever is registered coach on the tour, because you have to have certain credentials to be registered coach on the tour, and you have a valid contract with the player, and the player doesn't respect the contract, and there is no reasons to not respect the contract, he should get paid by the prize money, and
Yes.
then coaches would get much more credit, much more respect, because then the players and their entourage, they will realize that it's not so easy to go around
Mm,
these things, and it's
yeah.
so simple, it's really simple, I think.
Yeah. And there should really be at least a month, really, shouldn't there? If I decide to end the contract, then I still have to pay you a month. I always remember Darren Cahill saying he actually never had written contracts with his players, which is
Yeah,
just astonishing, and they always followed through. Have you ever done like something like that? Do you always have a written
I do.
contract?
No, I did both. I did both. I tried to have a contract 2 years ago. I didn't, and I didn't get paid the last
Mm,
month. Even the girl was improving from 250 to 160. I didn't get paid for the last month, so it was pretty bad. So after this situation, I said, okay, no more. There
yeah,
is no more cooperation without the written contract. But again, imagine you are taking a girl from 400 to top 20, and I agreed to work with the less salary, because I said, okay, when she makes it, I will get paid by the bonuses, whatever, 10%
yeah.
prize money, and then she gets top 20 and you get fired.
Oh, it's horrendous.
How do you
Just
protect
horrendous.
yourself? How do you
Yeah.
protect against this? So,
Well, anyone
like I
listening
said,
who's in the business world is just shaking their head in
of
despair
course,
because
of course, of course. I
it
think
would never
tennis is the
happen.
most unprofessional. I think the tennis
Yeah.
is the most unprofessional sport regarding, the first of the quality of the coaches, because I read interview with Tipsarevic, and I think he's absolutely right. And second of all, like I said, like can be a coach. Anybody can be a coach. You see a lot of hitting partners becoming top coach from one day to another. You see fitness coaches becoming tennis coaches from one day to another. Obviously, I'm not talking about the relationships on the tour. There is some that I approve because they get married and they love each other, which is fine. But then there is some guys, having relationship with different players and moving from one player to another, which is for me absolutely not correct, and they should be banned from the tour.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, very difficult for the tour, but I think possible. I think it's
Yeah.
possible to deal with these things and set up rules for everybody, for managers, for fitness coaches, for tennis coaches, and for the players as well and their families.
Mm.
Because if you set rules, you will have order, you will have higher quality of coaching, and you will have more respect on the tour. And
Yes.
if you don't have these components, there is mess, there is hate, there is a lot of people. Like I said, there is a lot of brainwashers coming to the tour, and
Mm.
they are trying to gossip and whatever, you know say things which are not true just to kind of get the job, or push away actually a coach who probably is a good coach. So like I said, order will always create more quality,
Yeah.
because if you get it right, so the mess, you can maybe get away with a lot of things, in the mess. And I always say, I just had a phone call with a friend of mine, manager, and there is things happening in tennis, and I said, "Look, listen, it's for me, people many times ask me, like, how, Vlado, in 26 years you took like four players to top 20, you took girls from 4 to 100 to top 100 many times. You were never like kind of the guy who was just trying to get a top player and just be on the tour. Like, I really try to develop the players most of the time, and I succeeded."
Mm.
And I said, like, yes, because I see what's happening on the tour. Because I believe when I do correct things with the player who is ranked 2, 300, 400, there is so many girls which are not disciplined, and so many bad coaches on the tour which are not teaching correct things, and they are just kind of like staying there, picking up balls, taking backs, and just being there. That I just really believe myself and the player that if we work correct, that we can break into top 100. And
Yeah.
that's actually what's happening. That unfortunately there is very, very few girls for the moment which have the stability and quality to play every day, in a certain on a certain level.
Yes.
I said this many times, that like in the 2008, 9, 10, 11, we had clusters: Henin, Serena, Sharapova, Azarenka, Lina, Dementieva, Ivanovic, Jankovic, Peneta, Schiavone, Petrova, Moresmo, Bartoli. We had like 15 to 20 players in top 20, which were another level at that
Yes.
time from other girls. It's also funny, like I would mention Barty, because at Barty at that time she couldn't break top 50, and she got depressed and stopped playing tennis, because just like going further into Grand Slam was like really, really difficult because of these 20, 25 girls, which were really tough to beat. So it was not possible. And then 4 years later, when all these girls were gone,
Mm.
she started to be like queen of the tour. And what I say also, that, for example, girls like Wozniacki and Kerber and Halep, they were the first three players who actually profited from these girls quitting, because these 15, 20 girls, they actually quit very, very suddenly in 1 or 2 or 3 years, so then the door opened, and Wozniacki, Halep, and Kerber, they were the top three workers. They
Yeah.
were not necessarily the best players like I ever seen in my life, but they were very solid. They were the workers, and they would
Mm.
win a lot of tournaments and become number ones. And they were doing a lot of things correctly, even they were not so gifted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they took the biggest advantage of this change of the
The
how do you
changing
call
of the
it?
guard.
Yeah, changing of the girls,
Yeah.
top players. And I'm missing this because I think the top 20, top 30 girls now are not as solid as the girls in 2008, 9, 10, 7.
Mm.
I think the this is what I'm missing a little bit in tennis.
Yeah.
I'm sure 100% that it got faster, but then like even Emma now, or Andreeva, they are proving me that with the solid game and with the correct things, you can become very, very, very quickly a top tennis player. So you need to combine the big hitting, and the smart, and fit, and fit. I don't mean fit with fitness, but I mean fit, being able to put 20 balls with a high quality, good shot selection in the court, good defense, good offense.
Mm.
This how you become number one, number two in the
Yeah.
world, win Grand Slams.
I had the opportunity to interview Rafa Nadal for about 30 minutes in Jeddah at the end of 2024 at the Next Gen in in Saudi, because he's, of course, a Saudi
Mm,
ambassador. And I asked
mm,
him if he thought the game had progressed recently, and he said no. I don't think it's any
mm.
better than it was when he, Djokovic, and Federer were in charge. Obviously, as you said, maybe the guys are hitting harder, and the women certainly are in the case of Sabalenka and Keys. But overall, perhaps it's not quite as good as it once was when Serena was dominating the landscape.
Yeah, yeah.
Just finally, I'd love to know this. I actually put something out on Twitter, or now it's called X, earlier today, asking if Vladimir Platonik's work that he'd done with Raducanu, because I had some knowledge, having spoke to you a few days ago on the phone, of what you had worked on, and I asked a lot of people, if they thought that her results in Miami were a consequence of the work you've done, and I kind of got a mixed response, and I thought that was interesting because I'm a coach myself when I'm not commentating. And I know, how much work needs to go into just working on tiny little details of the game. You don't just go from this to this in one practice session. It takes time. And I know
Yes.
what you did over those 2 weeks. So what would you say to those people listening that, doubt that whether the work you did is actually worked out into a quarterfinal at
It's not.
Miami? Maybe,
It,
the guys and girls that just jumped on, maybe they're the ones that have brought her so much
No,
success.
it's not me. It's not me to judge. It's not me to judge. The best answer can give you Emma.
Mm,
She, I don't know. I did maximum I could do in 10 days, and I was laughing with my wife today. I said, like, like I think maybe Emma she just need to do camps with me and travel with Jane, and she will be fine because no, no, it's honestly because like I think when you prepared and then you there with somebody who you feel good with and mentally, the girls can talk and you know what I mean. So
yeah.
she feels mentally okay and she's prepared well. Well, why not? Like anything works, no. So it was just a joke, but like I said, obviously, I think she did good decision because she was stressed with me being there because I was she didn't know me that well, and
Mm,
then like okay I did a good preparation, that's what she said, and what I also think because I saw the improvement during the 10 days, and it was like I said, like first 3 4 days was not good and it was getting better, and then 7 day was really good, and 8 9 10 was already like really really Emma playing
yeah.
well, so I said, it's Emma's talent, it's Emma's brain, it's like you said, it's her smartness that she could digest so many information because, like I
Mm,
said, many girls probably they would not be able to. They would tell me like, okay, this is too much information, Lalo, and she was like, no, I want more, I want more, I want more. So this is her skills, her talent, her brain, kind of like soaking all the information into her, and it worked well in the game when she fired me, but she got people in the box who were kind of when she looked there and she was feeling comfortable and she was just doing whatever she could during the match, and she realized now after 2 3 4 matches that it works, so she
mm,
gave credit to me. I'm happy she's winning. Jane, she's there because she's doing the good mental work. Good. Why not? Why not?
yeah.
All good. Yeah.
Well, that's
So
that's
it's not up to me. It's up to Emma to say like yes,
yeah.
it helped a lot or not. And she gave the interview today or yesterday, which she said like yes, it helped me. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't care if it was 10 days or 3 years. Okay. I really like I said, like obviously I was a little bit sad, because I know how much work we did, even it was just 10 days, and I see that like it's unbelievable, the footwork, the serve, the choices she's making on the court, the fight she's putting on the court, the movement, like many rallies, 10 balls, 15 balls, very solid, very good placement, very good shot selection. So like really really like I see that wow, like this is great, like this is really really like I don't understand how she did it in such a short time, but it's exactly what I would love her to do.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, the question is on Emma. Yes, it helped. It didn't, and I like I said, I'm super happy. Even was 10 days. The girl is back. The girl is playing great. I hope she will continue. I hope she will make a lot of people happy, her fans, and yeah, that's why I'm doing this. I'm really like I want to enjoy myself with tennis. I know it's difficult. I know it's suffering, But I know when I do the good job, then there is a joy. There is joy
Yeah.
from my side. There is joy from parent side. There is joy from the player side. So, and it's not always easy. It's not always, like sometimes you get the surface, you don't feel the ball. Sometimes, you get the balls, you don't feel the balls. People don't understand. Every tournament you get, it's a different surface. It's a different feeling. It's different bounce. And you sleep not in your bed every week, and people are watching, and you didn't sleep well. So I know it's all excuses, but it's a reality also that we need
Yeah.
to cope with every day, So that's why I said to Emma, like, just, focus on yourself, do it for yourself. Don't have goals to prove something to somebody, that just do it for yourself. Be happy, work with people you trust, work with people who you see that your game is improving, even you don't like to hear it. So just very simple things, but true things. Because again, it's truth. You're alone on the court. If you don't do correct things, the other player on the other side is doing good things, you lose. So it's simple as that. It's simple as that. There is no going around. There is no special shots. There is no special techniques. Obviously, everybody has a little bit different technique, but the principle of tennis are the same. You have to know how to use your legs. You need to hit the ball in front. You need to stay in the shot with your body. You need to finish the shot with your wrist, and so on and so on. So it doesn't matter if it's Iga Swiatek grip or if it's Roger Federer grip. The principles are the same. Yes, the shot looks a little bit differently, because of the grip maybe, but again, like, the principles are the same, and if you follow the right principles and you work correctly, you get rewarded. Sometimes the parents and the players, because they are not educated well enough about tennis, they believe it's magic, and they believe, I can do anything because I have a good day, so I will hit everything winner down the line from the first shot. Okay, try
Yeah.
that every match. Good luck.
It is the most difficult sport, in my opinion, in the
It's
world.
quite,
And
quite
finally,
difficult.
Vlado, 'cause I've had you for a long time. You've been very generous with your time. What's next for you?
Oh well, must say that I'm super happy because honestly, like, the last 26 years of my life, it's crazy. Traveling 30 weeks a year. Then doing the preseason. Also, I'm traveling to Florida every year because I want to just prepare the player very well. And I could stay in Slovakia or Europe and play indoors, but I just don't believe that it's a good preparation for the player before the Grand Slam in Australia. We need to play outdoors, so I'm even traveling 1 month to Florida usually to do the preseason outside. So now I'm really really happy to be home. Unfortunately, my daughter, she's studying in university in Maryland, so she's there. But I saw her now in Miami a couple of days, and my son, he's playing ice hockey. He's a very good ice hockey player, and now we have the finish of the season ice hockey league in Slovakia. So I'm so happy to come to his matches and watch him battle in the matches.
And any thoughts on the coaching front? Are you going to get straight into it? Straight
Oh,
back into it, I should say.
honestly, no. I would like to stay home a little bit now, and tennis wise, yes. Like, there is a lot of people here that they when they heard about me, being available, So I'm helping a few kids here in the city in Bratislava. So I'm very busy today. Actually, I was on my way from 6:30 until now because driving my son to practice, and then I had probably like 7 hours with kids on the court. So I cannot say no. I cannot say no because I'm so little at home. I'm so little at home, and these are very nice people, nice kids, very thankful. And so I went to the courts, and I was trying to help them. I have very good group of coaches here, young coaches who really like to work with me and get my advice. I'm doing this for a longer time already. Whenever I'm home, I go and we are trying to do a lot of video and trying to kind of set up the program and the setup for the practice for these kids. So I really enjoy it because, like I said, like, first of all, my goal is to help. and
Yeah.
uh, and when people ask me, I'm it's so difficult for me to say no. Yeah.
Vlado, you are a true professional, and I really do believe you're one of the best coaches on the WTA tour. I will
Thanks
tell
so
anybody
much.
in the world that I absolutely believe that.
Thanks so much. And like I said, I hope that my comments will not hurt anybody or kind of insult anybody, because like I really said that for everybody is a difficult job, players, coaches, parents. I just want to make the world better for tennis players, for coaches, and find solution for everybody to be more respectful to each other, to have a good community, to have a healthy community, and more professional. Being more professional from all aspects.
A perfect way to end. Vlad, thank you so much for being on Diary of a Professional Tennis Coach Part
No.
2, and I hope that we will talk again soon.
Okay, thanks a lot, and for sure, anytime I like to talk about tennis, it's my life.
Thanks, Vlado. All the best.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Diary of a Professional Tennis Coach. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll be back soon with another great episode.